All right, here we have it. Icon Stage 4 lift kit for the 02 Tacoma. Missing the addle leafs, we're still waiting on that to get here, but it's gonna be going on this rig here. Having a full suspension overhaul, front end rebuild. This is where we're at right now. There we are. We'll do a step-by-step walkthrough on this installation process. All right, so we're gonna start here on the passenger side. Got all the parts here ready. We're gonna wanna screw these in here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grease the bushings here. And then we'll be ready to roll. All right, got everything greased up, got these installed. Now we're just gonna be pushing these bushings in. Doesn't take anything special, pretty cool. Slide right in. We'll get those pressed in a little tighter. We'll be good. Now we're gonna be throwing it in here. So got everything set up, got these pushed in, everything tightened up. Got this, just cleaned this up, threw a little grease on there. For these, we got one here already. There's gonna be one on this side, one on this side, one on this side, and one on that side when you go to install. So I've already got the OEM control arm out, and how to do that, you're gonna want to, if you can see through here, you can see this is where the bolt is gonna be coming out. You're gonna have to loosen this airbag sensor up so you can pull it out. This side's not too bad to get out, and then that bolt will slide right out of there. For the other side, it's a little bit more of a process. Same deal, got it out already. And to do that, the bolt is gonna come out this direction. You're gonna have to remove the battery. And then same deal, there's gonna be an airbag sensor right here. You're gonna wanna remove that, and then you'll slide that bolt right out, and then you can drop that OEM control arm. But, so, I'm gonna be putting this up here, sliding the bolt through, and I'll be back in just a sec. All right, there you have it. Got that ran through, got the two washers in there, got it snugged up, not tight yet. I'll tighten it down a little bit later. Now I'm gonna start on this, getting the spindle hooked up to the upper control arm. We'll be right back. All right, now we're gonna be installing the delta joint adapter into here. So these are all the parts. They include these bolts and the nut and the washers to press it in, which is pretty cool. So you're gonna be taking this piece, putting it in here, and then this piece is gonna go under, and then you will take this washer, drop this through, throw the nut that's given on the bottom, and I think they're both 19 millimeter, and then just tighten it up, and it should press that into there, and then you'll be set to throw that in there. All right, this worked pretty good. Just 19 millimeter, pushed them together, pressed that into there. We'll just scoot this out of here. Once that bolt is out, I'll start putting it onto there. That's the next step. All right, since we got this piece pressed in there, I just used a floor jack and just kind of lifted everything up and met it with the piece here and put that through. So next step is going to be putting this lock washer on, and then thread that up, make it real snug, and this one should be completely installed. Okay, got it on, everything's snugged up. So once you got it going, you're going to want to put that on before your nut, and you're going to want a hand wrench for this. This is going to be a 10 millimeter, and that was a 22 millimeter. Worked good for me. This one is installed, we'll move on to the driver's side. Gonna be doing the same deal. Gonna be putting these in to these holes here. Then we're gonna be greasing the bushings, pressing those in, and then we will move on to the driver's side and get this one put in. We're over at the driver's side now. Got everything buttoned up here, got these in, got those pressed in. Gonna be throwing that bolt through just like the other side. Like I mentioned earlier, this side was a little bit more difficult to get that bolt out. So if you can see right there is where that bolt comes out, and you're gonna slide it out in this direction when you're removing the OEM. And this here is sensor just like the other side. Bracket, you're gonna wanna remove that. And I just disconnected it here. And that way you can slide it out. And you're going to remove the battery as well. And I'm gonna start putting this in. Got the driver's side installed, ran the bolt through, got both washers on there, just like the other side. Now, next step is gonna be pressing that adapter right here, just like the other side. Gonna be putting that on. You're gonna wanna make sure that's gonna be straight, and then you can take this piece, put it there, just like earlier, run this through, tighten it up, press it down. Once that's pressed in, we will button it all up, and we'll be good to go. There's that. It is pressed in. Now we can thread this off. Take this out of there. Now we're good to throw this through there. There you have it. Driver's side is on. Everything's snugged up. We'll do the once over real tight once we get everything installed. So that's that for the upper control arms. We'll move over to this side. Check it out, all in. It's time for coilovers, and there we have them. I'll grab these. We'll start putting them in. All right, gonna start with the driver's side here and put this in. So, with the kit, it's gonna come with 6 of these bolts right here. I'm gonna be using a 9/16 socket to put those in. And it'll take a minute, but we will get that positioned up in here, start, hand tightening the bolts up at top, and then we'll get bolt through the bottom and then get everything snugged up, and we'll be right back. Got these 3 bolts snugged up. Now gonna work on getting this lined up to slide that bolt through. I'm just gonna use a floor jack, push it up a little bit, slide that through, tighten those up, and then we will move on to mounting the reservoir. But I'm just gonna see if that gets it close. Now I'm just gonna slide the bolt through, tighten it up, move on. It is installed. Got that bolt through. Those 3 up there are tight. Now I'm gonna start mounting the reservoir. Gonna go grab everything I need, and we'll start bolting everything in there, and this side will be done. All right, for installing the reservoir, we got this piece here. It's gonna go just like that, and those 2 holes that line up, which are gonna be this hole here and this hole, or that hole there. Gonna drill that out a little bit to where these bolts that they've provided here thread right in there, and then we'll use these fasteners to mount up the reservoir, and we'll be done with this side. Got these two drilled out, ready for the bolts to go in, so we can start putting everything together. There's that. Those are snug. Now, just gonna take the reservoir and mount it on here with those fasteners, and the slide's done. All right, there it is. Driver's side is on. Got everything fastened up. I went ahead and used the rubber gasket, just threw it under there. Keep everything nice and fresh, not rubbing paint off. So those are tight, those are tight, tight. Everything's snug. Looks pretty good. Excited to see what the stance is like. Should be pretty good. And I'll move on to the next side. We're back over at the passenger side. Gonna start putting this one in just like the other side. I'll leave out some of the smaller details because we saw it on the other side, but once this is in, will be front suspension all installed with new control arms. Pretty excited. Passenger side, everything's tightened up. Everything's looking good. Now I'm just gonna do the same thing, except on this side, you're gonna have to pop this tab off. There was another one of those on the other side that's easy, just flatbed, break it off, and then install the reservoir, and we'll be done with the front suspension. Passenger side is installed and looks pretty good. For this, it's kind of in the way, just kind of bend it out. Got everything secured. Looks pretty nice. That's a wrap for the front end, and then we'll move on to the back. All right, we got the rear leaves have been delivered, so gonna get started on the rear end. Got it all jacked up on jack stands. Gonna start removing both rear tires. All right, the rear tires are removed. This is what we got right now. Gonna start by removing these rear shocks, and then we'll move on to leaves, get all the new stuff in. That's this side. We'll run over to the driver's side. Same deal. Get everything sorted out. Under the truck now, gonna remove this bolt here, this bolt here. Gonna be using a 17mm, got it on a breaker bar. And then we'll bring this shock out. I'll probably do the other one too. And then we'll start on this leaf pack right here. So we got the shock out. I ended up just pulling those out quick. And then I got all this off. So I ended up just taking the angle grinder and cutting off the bolts that I could get to. Just wasn't worth spending a ton of time on them when I got fresh new ones with the kit. So next step is going to be removing these leaves. Going to drop the differential down just a little bit, and then we'll start putting in the new icon stuff. I'm not sure if these are going to be an issue. So I have seen on a couple other videos where some other people have put them into some newer Tacomas and they ran into an issue with these. So we'll see if that is a problem. Okay, with everything out, next step to removing these leaves is going to be taking this bolt out right here. It's a 14mm. Once I've got that out, we will keep going. So the nut on the top of the leaf was being a pain, so I also just took the angle grinder and cut the nut off, dropped the bolt through. Hopefully it comes out better for you guys, but I've seen where you can clamp it together before you let them separate, and that helps everything stay together. But for me, it was just spinning in there, and I didn't want to waste any time. Got new parts, so drop that through. Here we are on the passenger side. Got everything taken out. Had to cut this bolt off too, or the nut just wouldn't come out. Got the shock taken out. Both of them are sitting over there. Got all this out. Now I'm just gonna lower it down and then pull out those leaves, and then we can put the new ones in. All right, and I also disconnected the emergency brake line just so everything isn't stuck behind it. Pretty simple. This goes through there, and then there's just a clip like this. You pop that clip off, pull the pin out, and then you're set. All right, now everything is disconnected. Of course, this will look different if your truck's not lifted, or depending on what lift you have on it. Gonna be just simply popping these out. I've already got that one out. Doing the same on the other side. Putting in the fresh leaf pack that came with the Icon kit. And then we'll move on to the shocks. There's that. Pretty much ready for the new Icon kit. That was the lift kit that was previously on it. Go over to the other side. There it is, same deal. Now that we've got everything cleared out of here, we'll be sticking with those, and then gonna pull that piece off. Gonna take these bolts out, put it up, put the bolts back in, and then run this nut out, and that'll be the one on top. Should be that 14mm like earlier, and then the new Icon kit will be installed. Okay, passenger side is on. Everything's tightened up, tightened those, tightened that, tightened that. Went on pretty well. I'm gonna wait until here in a little bit, and then I'll cut it probably about right there with the angle grinder, so the bump stop can get on there. And then done on this side for now. Move on to the other side and start with the U-bolts and the bump stops. We're over on the passenger side, starting on this side to put the U-bolts on. So got the bump stop back on. I cut that the remainder of that bolt off, so this will fit on. Drop these on. So we've got this down here ready. That'll come up right here, and got the provided nuts and washers for the U-bolts. So I'm gonna start with that. Once that's on and tight, I'll move to the other side, do the same thing, and then the shocks can go on. All right, got these on, just not tight or anything. I still have to get this pushed together. So for right now, this side is gonna stay this way. I'm just kind of getting them in there first, and then I'll tighten them up. So on this side, I'm gonna do the same thing. Gonna grab the U-bolts, snug it up, and then I'll be able to readjust the floor jack and just start pushing it up, and then we can tighten them all up. Got them on there real loose just to kind of hold it so I can readjust the jack. So next step's gonna be lower it, slide the jack out, and then you can see everything's just a little not square in there. So that'll all come together when I readjust the jack and make it everything go straight again. This side's pretty snug. I still gotta line it up a little better and get it real tight. And then I'll move over there and get everything to where I am on this side. All right, got the driver's side all tightened up tight. You can see it's all flush. And like that. And then right over there, gonna start doing the same. It's flush just because this side's tight and I jacked up flush, and then I'll start tightening it down just like this side, and then it'll be ready for shocks. Everything is in and tight. The jack is taken off, it's on its own. Went on pretty smooth, not too much trouble. Next step is gonna be putting on the shocks, which shouldn't be a problem. And gonna do that just like when we took them off. So gonna take that bolt out and take that bolt out and just throw in the new shocks and tighten it up. All right, this rear shock is in. Got this bolt tightened up. Got this one tightened up. It's in there solid. Next step is going to be mounting the reservoir to the shocks. So in the kit, they provide 2 of these black pieces to mount up to the shock, and then just like on the front, we've got these. We'll tighten them up and then secure it, and then we'll move on to the passenger side, same deal, and then we'll be all installed. Driver's side is all mounted up. You can see these black pieces are what they provided in these. Goes on pretty smooth, pretty solid. Looks pretty good. And gonna be going over here and getting this side done. This is what it looks like all installed from under the truck. And this is what it looks like outside.